Hello, I'm Kal and the gang are currently presumably finishing up their tour with Gladstone curator Lee Petrie. We are coming to you live. Virtual Collage Jam is coming to you live from the Gladstone House in downtown Toronto. It is our very first live in-person event ever for this, because Collage Jam was started during the first lockdown in March of 2020. And yeah, so we had lunch with some of the people who are participating today. Kal and I did. And they're getting a tour of the Gladstone House's uh, extensive, and when I say extensive, huge refurbishment. It's a historical building. And they've done a gorgeous job. And they have an extraordinary and really extensive art collection installed as well, most of which was commissioned specifically for this big renovation. So I expect it will take the gang a few minutes to arrive, and then there'll be a little shuffling around. But please say hi. Oh, Val, I wish you were here too. Yeah, you'd see some familiar faces. You'd see some of the Collage Jam regulars, and some people who don't participate in the chat normally, but do often attend. So that's really nice. And man, it's amazing just seeing real humans again. In this context. Kal commented that he was really uncharacteristically nervous preparing for this, just because it's literally our first in-person professional event like this. And of course, we ended up forgetting a few things because we're just not used to doing it. So anyway, it should be fun. And we had lunch in the bistro ahead of time, which is just gorgeous. Huge, beautiful windows, and they have an amazing chef here. And yeah, so that was really nice. So we had a nice little social time before the event. Oh, and I see the group has arrived at downstairs where the studio is, where I am right now, because they're finishing the tour at Kal's artwork installation that the Gladstone commissioned him to do, that is of the Gladstone Hotel. So everyone's getting a chance to see that in person, which is, if you're located in a place. Oh, hi, Rebecca. So glad you could make it virtually. If you can make it here at some point in the future in person, it's really worth seeing the whole place. But of course, Kal's neon artwork. It's very different. Oh, hi, Rena. Oh, I'm so glad you're able to pop in too. Happy Hanukkah, by the way, to you and to anyone else to whom that applies. Hi, Annie. Oh yeah, I wish all of you could be here. Honestly, it's so exciting. So we were really fortunate because Kal realized one art supply he forgot to bring was base, right? Watercolor paper usually. So fortunately, Curry's art store is just across the street. And so he was, in fact, Lee was kind enough to go across to pick it up for us. So there it is, brand spanking new. So I understand that the prompt today is old and new. So are you going to be working on that prompt? Any of you? Or did you bring something else? I know Rebecca often has a lot of homework she has to catch up on for Kal's courses. I'm going to be sitting over there in a few minutes. Why don't I show you what the room looks like? This is just the studio, so it's very, it's done more of a utilitarian style. I'll try and do it really slowly. So there's an artist in residence And you can see some of her work hanging there, and a sewing machine. She does textile-based work. And there are windows. You may hear a little applause. That's from the tour, because Kal, I think, is saying something about his work. So that's directly opposite me. It's the tour. Yes, that's why I'm talking rudely through things. There's Kal. Good. So I'm going to slowly move the camera so I don't make everyone completely ill. And we have a photo video consent form here that I thought maybe we could pass around, and you can, and you know, we'll if your head's down, you have a mask on, you won't really be very identifiable if you're concerned, but just let us know if it's an issue. So
a big thank
there's
you
Kal.
A big thank you to Kim for holding the fort. I hope you guys who are joining us remotely have she's kept you entertained, because our tour went a little late because there's just, and we only saw a fraction. And I'm sorry the live stream couldn't work for that. We tried, but there was a technical requirement on YouTube's part that meant we couldn't do it. But I will. I've recorded it, I think, rather poorly because I'm not a videographer. But I will put that up so that you know, I will probably have to learn some video editing, judging by what I saw myself taking video of. So I hope you're all ready to do some collage jamming with us. We have, how many people do we have? 9?
9, I think it was.
We have 9 eager in-person collage jammers. Welcome, everybody.
And I just want to point out to everybody who is in person that I'm not sure, Kal, that table of slides there is used to avail yourselves of.
Yes,
okay?
there are glue sticks, knives, scissors, and I know some of you guys have brought your own materials, but you can definitely feel free to augment whatever you got with whatever you find.
It didn't seem fair to suggest packing light without actually being able to giving you something to augment with, right? So it's a delight to be able to do this, do something in person. Oh my goodness. Spontaneous applause erupts, and yes, absolutely. Yeah. And just in a moment, Kim will get us up to speed on what people are chiming in from out of. Yeah, I just have to join the. Yeah, just join the stream, and you've got your. Yeah. You have your muted. Excellent. Muted. Excellent. Okay. All right. So our theme this week. Oh, sorry. Yeah. No. Go ahead. Our theme this week is old and new, or our optional prompt, because the Gladstone Hotel is a compelling blend of both of those things. So. Yes, I mean, in historic site, but cutting edge work, and actually the renovations use cutting edge design too. So there's stuff that is ultra contemporary, right beside stuff that is period from the hotel's inception or some period later. So starting, some of it dates back to 1900 and earlier, and some of it a little later than that, and then some is from like literally the last year. I hope you enjoyed the tour, guys. Yeah, the tour was amazing. That's great. Looking forward to sharing that with you. And Lee Petrie, the curator, gave us a really lovely tour and showed us just a few of the rooms which happen to be vacant. I think something like 40 plus of the hotel's rooms have original artwork in them by commissioned within the last year. So. Okay. All right. So what am I doing? I'm just going to tell you briefly, because I am rather scattered today. Yeah. As you can imagine. Image is a little higher. Yes. Yes. So what do I have? I madly just this morning printed off some older images.
just off of the Flickr Commons, and just I literally Googled old, so I got some on Flickr. So I got some old people, some old photographs, some old images, and
if I can interject, the Flickr Commons is an awesome source for
yes,
images, by
Flickr
the way.
Commons is a really Flickr. So
Flickr, just flick the word
like Flickr
but
without
with no
an
E.
E. Yep. .com, and you can explore it, the Commons, which is yes,
Yes.
it is a photo sharing website, but it also has a very substantial
International institutions digitize their collections and post them there, and so you can very often they're public domain. So
yes.
the Smithsonian and the New York Library and the British Museum and so on and so forth, right? So it's unbelievable. So as long as you have a printer, of course, or if you're working digitally, you can avail yourself of that.
And can I ask my lovely assistant
Yes.
to go over to the
Over to the table?
over to the table and
Yeah.
just pick me one or two things that look like they are new.
Look like they are new.
Yes.
Sure.
Because I have lots of contemporary magazines there, so I think there should be lots of new there. So, and to show you how scattered I was this morning, I made a list last night of all the things I needed to collect. Collected them this morning, and forgot to bring something to collage onto.
I did tell them.
Oh, you told them that? Okay, all right, yeah. Yeah.
People
I am very much out of practice for doing anything in person these days. Well, Lee, our lovely curator, said, "Do you want me to run out to Curry's? It's just down the block." And I said, "Thank you very much, Lee." So she saved my proverbial bacon. Thank you, Lee. That's great. Lovely. That looks great.
There you go.
I really don't. You know me.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I'm picky.
Kal definitely, I can feel his energy levels way heightened.
I am I'm a little manic. So
Yeah.
I hope you guys are a little manic.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Well, once I get started with the actual hands-on stuff,
Yeah.
I'll be chill. So I'm going to move the camera overhead. So and
It's been such a long time
yeah.
since we
And
did this.
before
It's
I do
amazing.
that, I'm just gonna pan it
Yeah, now
around so
we've
that you
got-
can see. Everyone wave and say hello to people online.
Yeah. That's so nice.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you guys. It's so lovely to have you here. I'm really quite struck by how wonderful this is.
So Val, one of our regulars, says, "Hi, wish I was there." Rebecca, another of our regulars, says, "Hi." Rena Gottesman says, "Hi, happy to be able to say hello. Excited that you and Kal are able to do this live event." With a heart.
Yes, so are we.
Yeah. Annie, another of our devoted regulars, says, "Hi, Kim, me too. Wish I was there." And Rebecca notes that she's working on homework again, as usual. Probably for this guy's courses,
Yes,
right?
guilty as charged.
Val adds, "We have workers in our house, hard to do any art right now." Right, so you're getting a bit of respite, hopefully, by watching this.
She's staying home and getting hammered.
Put on phone. You didn't warn me to bring the drum.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Yeah, next time I'll bring the drumsticks and everything. Gerda's with us.
Hey, Gerda, nice to have you along. And sorry, you did mention who else, and I didn't. I was distracted. So
Val,
Val, it's
Rebecca,
nice to have you here.
Rena,
Rebecca,
Annie.
Rena, hello guys. Trying to wave to the overhead camera there.
Yeah. Gerda says, "I forgot about the tour. Glad to be joining you."
Yes.
And Ricky's here.
Yay,
too.
Ricky from
Philadelphia. So
Woohoo!
she couldn't be here.
well, you know the last minute flights are very much catch as catch can, and I mean, once you get through
it's the security.
the
that's
security,
problem.
exactly.
Look at all those tests.
Yeah.
She writes, greetings from south of the border. Valerie, I also have workers in my house redoing my entire kitchen. I could do absolutely nothing, but I'm happy to be here. Well, at some point, we'll share a shot of people hard at work so you can feel like you're part of the action, Ricky.
So I'm just going to array my
Yeah.
different vintage type stuff across
to
to sort of see it and think and soak it in while I leaf through what my lovely assistant Kim has selected for me from the.
I think on the back cover there's something that I thought
That was great.
I don't know. She just looked new to me.
She does, yes, yes, like she's about 19 too. Yes, yes,
that.
you know exactly. And scratched up, which is kind of fun, like new, but just new, but
exactly. We're going to be in a room with a buzz and a hum to
yeah,
it. When was the last time we experienced that?
Yeah, when was the last time you were in a room?
Wow.
One of our jammers was talking about the fact that last weekend she was entertaining people at her house and getting completely stressed out because when was the last time she had to actually
entertain
and like make sure everything was just right, you know? It's like, yeah.
We can't do that for 6 months. It'll take us that long to clear out our house.
6 months is an optimistic estimate, I must say.
Well, I thought if we get the extra big shovels.
Have you guys been doing renovations, or are you just accumulating art supplies?
Well, we've had accumulations of things, and with a number of people in the family passing, we've also, sort of inherited collections of things, and it's just getting quite. I'm at the point where I'm going to do Instagram Live with a pile of artworks and say, if
going
no
once,
one
going
bids
twice,
on this,
I'm burning
setting fire to it. You know.
I want to come to the sale.
Okay, all right. I'll let you know because honestly, I just don't have room for it all. It's just too much. So.
Yeah, I think she looks very new with her half buzzed hair.
Yes, she does. That's great.
It's interesting. I'm leafing through this magazine from like 3 years ago or whenever. It's quite recent, and there are a whole bunch of like retro looking things, which of course they're not actually, but it's interesting that they've got a historical look to them when I'm looking for something new, which is hilarious.
I'd like to do a half buzz, but I'd like to have a jawline first. I think that would be nice. Annie says, great studio space. Hope you'll do this again soon.
Yes. This is the Gladstone's first workshop.
It's the first workshop in this.
We are, yeah. Way to go, guys. You're picking them off very well.
You're priming the pump.
Yeah.
I don't know if Lee mentioned that this is the space for the artist in residence as well. And that's
no,
what
please
you're
tell
seeing
them
here.
about that.
And so she's a textile-based artist, and that's what is a sewing machine, a serger, or a sewing machine, and these beautiful organic textiles. So, yeah, I'm sorry I don't know her name. I'll have to ask Lee.
She did tell us, but neither of us can remember it.
Yeah, no retention. Yeah, so what's on the wall there is probably the green hanging, and she's got some on the table there. So anyway, she's obviously very nicely vacated it for this.
Yeah, she just happens to not be in today. We did say that originally that it was a possibility that she'd be working away there. Well,
right. She might have found us a bit distracted.
Yes, I'm sure.
Even with headphones on.
You could do something that didn't maybe take too much if you had a sort of thing that didn't require too much piece.
Yeah, some preparatory.
Yeah,
work
exactly. But nothing nothing too thinking intensive with us making a racket.
That's great.
So everyone at home, why don't you let Kim know what your thoughts are as far as what you're doing, what you're thinking about in terms of old and new. What kind of things are you bringing together, or
And even those of you who are unable to work today because you have people replacing your kitchens and so on.
Yes. There's
which
an
is a
old
nice
and new.
reason.
There's an old and new, right?
Yeah, there's old and new right there. But you could think about what you might.
Yeah, you might want to take some photographs of the process to do some artwork from at a future date.
Yeah.
Right.
Or conceptualize based on the materials you have.
You know
you have.
Yeah. You know, something that's interesting about collage is it's usually something where we find stuff, right? There's a real thrill of like the search and then the finding of things, found materials. But that's not to say that you can't make collages with your own photography, your own artwork as well, right?
Yeah.
So, and in fact, that might be an interesting thing to shift to change up your practice, or blend it with stuff you find and stuff you are the author of.
Well, Valerie never uses found materials.
No.
I should just mention for anyone who's not familiar with Valerie, she specializes in trash. Recovering things from rivers.
Yeah, in fact, she has a cottage on I think the Irondale River. Val will correct me. Up near Halliburton, and she like goes out in her boat and drags stuff out of the river and collages with it, like the trash that people put in.
She's also been known to do printmaking and all kinds of things with that kind of material. Halliburton School of Art and Design has an artist residency that's based on reusing, recycling. It's based on working with the Halliburton dump, and astounding the stuff that the two residents I've known have found there. Brand new items in unopened packages, just in the dump. Never mind the beautiful old things that just get trashed. So, Rosemary Vanderbregen was the first art resident in that program, and she salvaged a whole bunch of chairs for me
for a project you were working on. Yes,
that's right. Well, Val says, my son wanted to do something nice for me, so he said he was thinking of sending me a bag of garbage.
How you know artists are different.
Yeah.
Thank you, honey.
What a sweet present. So thoughtful. And she does.
I didn't know you cared.
One man's garbage is another man's
Exactly.
That's right. Yes, our cottage is near the Irondale River.
Okay.
So you got that right.
Sometimes.
Yep.
There are lots of things I really do need to remember and can't sometimes.
All right.
As my darling wife will attest.
Please do. Please do. And
Lee Petrie is in the house. Everyone give our tour leader a round of applause.
Act natural. I love it.
Or else. Act naturally, or else.
Lee, can you remind me what the name of the artist in residence is?
Yes, so the space is being occupied by Amanda McCaver, who is a textile artist, and she is doing an amazing ironing project, believe it or not.
Wow.
Preparing for an exhibition at an art museum at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Wow.
And
Fantastic.
she is going to be creating 60-foot panels that will be hung in the atrium of the art museum.
Fabulous.
And she starts,
Comprised of these wonderful.
yeah, she starts with these machines. She does free machine embroidery.
Ah, yes.
Then she scans them at high res and cuts them in burns them,
Yeah.
and then she is attaching them.
Oh, ironing them to tulle?
Ironing them to tulle.
Wow.
So this
Yeah.
is
Oh,
like
good.
regular thread, and then when you see with the high-res scan,
It gets
formed
really
so
large.
It looks like rope.
Yeah.
So picture these being hung from the ceiling and just sort of gently floating. in the
Yeah.
breeze. And they're apparently, I think there's a dowel at the top, and then there's a single point, so they can actually
Right.
fully rotate. So she
Beautiful.
needed a big space to be able to do all this ironing. Oh, and then the other cool part of this project is she was given access to the university's herbarium. So these are all samples of plant life that grows around in the state of Wisconsin.
Fantastic.
Are they old
I love
plants?
that.
Are they old plants? All plants, yes, that's correct.
Okay. Thanks so much for filling us in on that, please.
I should have mentioned that.
No, no worries. I was trying to fill in the people who are watching the live stream, and I completely blanked.
Yeah, so the space is available for artists to use for 3 to 4 months at a time, free of charge. We have applications open right now, so if you are interested, please put in an application on our website.
Fantastic. So everyone at home, if you can let me know if you were able to hear that all right. And if you weren't, I will do my best to
paraphrase.
paraphrase. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you,
Well,
Kal.
every once in a while, right?
That's right.
No guarantees.
Crazy was what I was coming up with.
Yeah. Well, and
And that wouldn't have been a
give a
terrible
crazy.
choice.
Give a crazy. That works. I'm gonna warm up by
That
giving,
looks interesting.
I'm gonna warm up with a cheap trick, which is just
Yeah.
two different faces,
Juxtaposition.
two sides of the same one face, two sides.
Gerda, I couldn't hear much of it. Okay, so Amanda
Macabre.
McCall, she's doing a 3 or 4 month residency here, preparing for an exhibition at the university in Madison, Wisconsin. And she has been given access to the herbarium at the university for reference plants that grow in and around Wisconsin, and in and around Madison and in Wisconsin. And she is using free machine embroidery to create images of the plants, and then she's doing high resolution scans to enlarge the embroidery, which she then prints onto, I'm going to guess it's onto, what's it
Wall?
called? No, the interfacing. And she's ironing it onto tulle, which is that sort of netting-like fabric. And they're going to be put together into 60-foot high assemblage, really, hanging and turning and wafting with the breezes. So that is my little paraphrase and précis.
That is a good précis. Yeah.
Of the project. So yeah, so it's totally organic looking. And the stitches end up looking really large scale. I mean, I'm a large scale queen.
So it looks smaller than
Yeah, it does look kind of.
But she
it
also
looks
is doing a
smaller.
lot of them, right?
Yeah, so it's probably going to look like a giant planter. Like those lovely green walls they install in some places.
Yeah, those
but
are
with
so
a larger
great.
scale plant. Thanks for letting me know, Val and Gerda,
Yeah,
and
that's
hopefully
helpful.
hopefully that helped.
Our mic is up on the front on the table with us, so we are
Yeah.
obviously hopefully coming across reasonably well, and but other sounds from the rest of the room less so.
That's right. Probably heard the applause all right.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe just to make it just a little less conventional, I'm going to cut some of this out. Maybe let some of the color show through that side.
Ah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Maybe just this lapel. Maybe I'll put the cap on my glue stick while we're waiting.
That way both sides will look integrated.
Yeah, and maybe I can take a bit of this side and integrate it over there. I think
Right. That's a nice.
It's a simple place to start. But how many
addition.
times have we talked about the idea
Starting
that
simple is great.
get the brain and the hand, get the hand working, get the brain ticking over, and eventually
Yeah.
ideas start to flow.
Well, you remember the first collage jam we did this season? You were going very spontaneous and quickly, and just really being loose and letting things flow.
Yeah, if you could only do that again, she said. And truth be told, I'm saying that too. If only I could do that again.
Yeah. Well, this will help
Sometimes.
you calm down because you're
Sometimes.
now doing, right?
Sometimes it doesn't work like that.
It just occurred to me, this is going to be so awesome because we're going to actually be able to see what people are working on.
That's right.
Unlike the live stream.
Yeah.
Wow. Fun.
At the end, we should. We'll
I
get
mean,
people.
we see it in the collage jam group.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But at the end,
Some
we
of
can
them.
get people to bring theirs up to the front and pass them underneath the
Get a little
camera.
loosey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure. Only if you wish to.
Yeah. No preciousness. It can be works in progress, right? It can be experiments.
No pressure, my precious.
I have a suggestion, Cal.
You do.
That photograph that's on the far left.
Yep.
Is that really very needed right now?
No,
Can you put it over here and slide all of this to the left for viewers at home?
I can't. In fact, I'm using it as a gluing sheet. So
Oh, okay.
I am using it, but I
Alright.
can definitely slide things closer.
Hello. Take a look at the actual, yeah, it's quite wonderful. Actually, I have to say, some of that would look great with your outfit. Just kind of dangle it decoratively somehow. Yeah.
I didn't quite get it, like.
So the original work is free embroidery. And then so that, for example, is the original. Using a free embroidery machine. And then,
Attaches itself to itself.
oh, it's probably on a wash-away base. Oh, okay. I forget what they call it, stitch witchery or something that washes away. And then high-res scans so that those stitches, they become this large. Okay? So that used to be as small and tight as that. And then printing it onto probably two interfacing. And then ironing it onto the tool fabric that you see there. So yeah, have a look. Don't touch, but have a look. Yeah. Yeah. So go up close and peer at it because that's embroidery done on the machine. And then the base has been washed away. Just giving people a little close-up, for those of you at home, giving people a little close-up look at the artwork by the resident artist. Philippa's here.
Woohoo! Hey, Philippa.
Irregular.
Yay.
Hi, better late than never.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
out for a walk.
Yeah.
So beautiful out there with the snow on the trees.
Yes.
And Philippa adds, I love what you're doing. I wish I had some of those old Vogues to work with.
Yeah, those are great. There's something very cool about seeing what was very au courant 100 years ago, because it's got a bit of both the old and new, right? It was new then, but it's now very old, and there's something nice about that.
I used to love, I think it's formative in my, the development of my visual understanding was my mother subscribed to Vogue in the 60s and 70s. And so there were so many iconic models and designers and looks, and it's a whole visual language fashion, and my father, because he was such a pack rat, 25 years after my mother had left, still had a bunch of her Vogues from the 60s, which were fabulous.
Yeah.
And, Twiggy and Penelope Tree and Jean Shrimpton and I don't know who else. And Lauren, what's her name? Yes, thank you. That's it.
Hive mind.
A really young Lauren Hutton. That was something to see. And unfortunately, they were all mildewy, of course.
Yeah.
But iconic. And of course, that was before I owned a scanner or anything, because it's the 90s. But anyway, I still have memories in my head of these. Oh, Verushka. That was another model. She was blonde, and she must have been about 6'8", and all leg. She was extraordinary looking. Yeah. Yeah. So there were supermodels before the 90s supermodels. My late godmother, who passed away 3 years ago, she was an international fashion model.
In the
60s,
right?
Yeah, she was. She left Canada for a modeling contract. It's actually an interesting story. My mother was enrolled in a beauty school
in Montreal, right?
In Montreal, and in those days, if you had a child, you were no longer considered good model material. Right? And my mother had me when she was 19. She was absolutely gorgeous, and had such an interest in fashion. But she also had a child, and it was proving she could no longer go to beauty school because she had to work.
Beauty school dropout.
Yeah. Well, what she did is she gave it to my godmother. She said, "You go in my place." And then they had someone needed a model internationally, and my godmother was the only one with a valid passport. And because of that, her whole career and her whole life was, changed by that one
shows you
thing.
Like the prepared.
Always have your passport.
Yeah,
seriously,
exactly.
Right? I am, because man, you never know when that modeling agency's going to call. So she lived abroad forever after that. Became a British citizen, I think. So, yeah. Very successful. One of the things about it was it gave her the opportunity to meet some extraordinary people. Philippa has asked if she can see the embroidery. Philippa, I wish I could, but the camera is hardwired to the laptop
Yeah, and you know what, Philippa, I did when Lee, the curator, before you joined us, Lee, the curator, was talking a little bit about it and held one of them up to show us, and I had the camera on at the moment. So watch the replay, and I think it's about like 20, I'm guessing 20 minutes, 25 minutes in. There will be a point at which you can actually see it.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is, well, I don't know whether she'll have any in-process stuff, but you could look up Amanda McCaver online and see whether she has any of her work along these lines.
Spelling of her name.
I think it's
I'll look it up.
Well, yeah, Kim will look it up. This is why it's great to have.
It's a tandem, yeah.
I tell you.
Exactly.
It's tandemonium. And everyone is now like, is that the time? I really have some laundry I need to get home to do. So this is what I've got so far on this one, which is just like getting the engine running, just very old and new, black and white and color, young and old, old and new.
And are you going to hold it up for?
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Here, I'll hold it.
Yeah. Pass it over to Vanna there. That's sort of like a nice little warm up, nothing too challenging.
Yeah. Getting things going.
Yeah, exactly. Get the engine running.
I immediately wanted to launch into Born to Be Wild then.
Well, go right ahead.
No, I'll spare everybody that.
Kim, are you singing in a choir, or are you just taking singing lessons?
I'm taking singing lessons, and my teacher organizes small private concerts a few times a year. So I've done 2 of those now.
Kind of like performance practice, right?
It's incredibly beneficial because I notice I do practice, but I apply myself to practice so much more intensely when I know I'm going to be performing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I make sure I learn the lyrics and, cold and so on. As much as I can with my memory the way it is now. But
which is just fine.
It's just slower than it used to be, right? But it's really noticeable.
Most other people sing with the lyrics in front of them. Kim does not. She knows it well enough that she has all the lyrics in her head.
Well, because I remember learning years ago from a friend who was a pianist that completely changes the way you play the music when you know it and you play it as opposed to always having to read it. And I totally agree with that in terms of singing. I can't speak to anything else but singing. It becomes yours. I mean, I don't have. I only started in March, so when I make it mine, I'm not making it mine the way Katie Lang might make it hers, right?
But what Kim's not telling you is her singing teacher, like the second lesson, said, "Oh, you're a natural singer, Kim. You could be singing in a club right now." And Kim's going, no. And then she's having her professional musician husband listen in because, you should hear Kim's voice. And he's like, wow. So she's, yeah.
We have a great speaking.
Well, thank you. I have some good genes to thank for that, I must say. Pardon me? Her name is Heather Christine. That's her stage name, and she's a Mississauga singer-songwriter. And she has a musical theater background, jazz singing, pop singing. She was part of a traveling show for a couple of years, I think, do a Carpenter's tribute act, and she was Karen Carpenter, which is a really tough range to sing. Yeah, she's got a lot of knowledge, and she's still studying. You know, she keeps developing her craft, which is great. And her husband is a singer-songwriter as well, and a guitarist. And yeah, so they do things together and they do things separately. And I thought, you know, when March was when my whole family situation was just
Falling to pieces.
the stress levels were just astronomical. And I thought I have to do something for myself to just be able to survive this. And I thought, you know, they're a young couple in Mississauga trying to make it as musicians and singers. Who better to pay for singing lessons, right? So yeah, so I've been thrilled because she gives me lots and lots of encouragement, which is great.
What kind of songs?
I'm eclectic. I get to sing what I want to sing, plus some songs for training purposes. So some are more classically oriented for training purposes, but I get to sing what I care about.
Yeah.
And my taste is very eclectic, actually. So yeah, I like singing almost everything, but very specific songs of almost everything.
So you can choose your own material.
Yes,
I love it.
absolutely. Yeah, I just seem to have a penchant, which is, would you say, typical for my general proclivities, which is to choose difficult songs to sing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I always seem to like a challenge. Every exhibition's like that too, right?
I know very little about singing, but I know that I've watched a few professional singers, and they say, oh yes, Chris Isaak's Wicked Game is one of my favorite songs of all time, and I love the way he sings it. And that's one of the ones that Kim is one, and it's got like really, really low to very, very high. So
yeah.
So yeah, Kim starts at the most challenging.
It's fun, you know. Anyone else here sing?
In the shower.
Yeah. Hey, that's awesome. That's valid. Sorry, Philip, I didn't catch this. What's her name again? It's Amanda
Macabre.
Macabre. That's the resident artist's name.
Yes.
And oh, good. Ricky has looked her up. And it's interesting spelling. MC capital CAVOUR, like flavor.
Oh, okay, right.
She's a
It's good.
textile
It's
artist.
good to have someone with research skills, I tell you.
Yeah. I mean, we've got Gerda and Ricky here, so
Yeah.
for sure we've got good
We've got
research skills.
we've got our academic corner well filled.
Right.
out.
Not to mention anyone in the in-person group.
Yeah, but they're busy.
Yeah, they're too busy to research.
Yeah. Just let them collage already. So hands up here if you are in your first in-person thing since lockdown, like in terms of a class or workshop or something.
Yeah.
About 3/4 of the group, guys,
Yeah.
just so you know, and that's
Yeah.
so exciting. In fact, we should have put our hands up.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I'm doing my singing on Zoom. You know what else I tried on Zoom? I think a lot of us have tried a lot of new things online, and I tried comedy improv on Zoom.
Oh my God.
Something I have no skills at. I just want to, I hasten to say, but I've now registered for a workshop because
Watch out.
because it, counterintuitively, I also took that up in the spring when things were going crazy because I needed something to take my mind off things. Yeah. Normally people don't do it for stress relief, I don't think, but yeah.
So just a little, for those of you who are,
Little update.
yeah, I'm just playing with the, like, I thought, sexy, heck yes, but also feels very new, right? With the,
Yeah.
the blue PVC there.
So let's hold it up to the
Yep.
to those here. That's one piece Cal's starting with.
That's my new.
The new, but he's cut a shaped slot into this other piece that he's putting her into here.
So just for the folks at home, more or less,
There.
I'm having trouble getting it there. And then,
It's there.
so, yeah, so just playing with like putting it into this vintage illustration, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, let's make sure Marilyn can see it. Anybody else? There we go.
Just see myself before I booster cake, booster shot.
Oh no,
no.
that's not how you're supposed to
Yeah,
do it, Carol.
it's not supposed to be DIY, you know
Yeah.
that.
You know, art's the reason why I keep my tetanus shots up to date.
Oh, that's kind of fun. But I thought, oh, it'd be interesting to bring in an additional image into this, at least, well, probably more than one. I was just noticing the color similarities between, I've got a bit of a glare issue here, guys. Sorry about that with the magazines. Between her, and then there are also some of the amberish, orangish colors in here. So I'm going to see if there's some way I can insinuate that in there in some interesting way, hopefully. In fact, I think I have an idea. I think what I'll do, stay tuned. Let's see if this works. So I don't know exactly how late it was compared to our when we were supposed to start that we actually started, but we'll run a little bit later, I think. Kim, do you think that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense?
think that makes sense.
Yeah. So
I started the stream at 2 minutes after 2,
right.
and I think you were here within 10 minutes of that,
Okay.
something like that.
So
So we run 15 minutes.
yeah, so we'll go to 3:45 today, so that we're not way too not jipping people.
Philip, in response to Ricky posting the name, said, "Thank you. I love textile work and used to dabble in it myself in the 70s and 80s." And then she adds, her mother sang and she took singing lessons in high school. We used to compete in the Kiwanis Festival at Massey Hall. Oh, imagine. I heard. Seriously, right? What a glorious. Oh. Oh, are you?
No, I mean, I hope.
Yeah,
Can't wait to do that.
because they've been renovating, right? And so it's.
Already like,
Oh yes, of course.
And I
That's
saw
perfect.
he did when I was 21.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's cool.
Fantastic. Yeah, he's a perfect choice for someone to reopen it.
He's more
He's-
than any other.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He broke his, spent it.
Oh
Just this
no.
last summer, he broke his wrist and so he had to practice and
Oh.
do all this physio. They had to actually delay.
Yeah, so that he could get up
I wonder
to.
if you can't let him lip sync.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because see, how can he do that?
He, you know what, of course, at 83, you're not the same, he doesn't have the voice that he
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if the people at home could hear that. We're talking about how Gordon Lightfoot performed to reopen Massey Hall after its refurbishment. So there are a lot of historic sites in Toronto getting refurbished, which is awesome. But that he had some issues along the way, like a broken wrist he had to overcome before he could do the concert. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I hope I'm singing when I'm his age.
Yeah.
In my little Zoom concerts. Maybe not Massey Hall.
Never say never.
Well, yeah. That's why, It's just like you never know when the modeling agency's going to call. You never know when Massey Hall is going to call and say,
You never know when somebody's going to invite you to the Gladstone to do the.
yeah, great. Oh, dear.
Nice, Marilyn.
Yeah.
I was very excited.
Aw, yeah.
I was so glad to be able to offer this because I mentioned it to Lee in the summer and she said, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But,
I'll get back to you. Yeah. So
She was in the midst of, it was still like serious
Had a lot to deal
construction
with, yeah.
zone here. And we got a tour early when they were still working on stuff. It was very well advanced, but it wasn't finished. And it was quite something to getting out of the workers' way to look at murals and things.
So I'm thinking with this one that I'm gonna just keep insinuating some new stuff into this old one. So I thought,
Right, that's a fun idea.
like her there. This is all subject to change, right? But her there, and then I was thinking she's also a very sort of similar palette. So
Wow, I love that blonde woman there.
yeah, I originally thought that I would bring her in because she's a nice scale change,
I
right?
just hold her up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just love this face.
Yeah, that's
What a gorgeous bone structure.
bone
this
structure,
woman has.
and the palette is very
that
beautiful.
that is very austere and
yeah.
beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, enjoy it. Like you can actually see what your collage jammers are doing. Yeah, remember when you could walk
you can
around?
actually walk around. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's true. I was planning on doing it.
So I think I sort of stopped in the middle of saying something.
You were talking about
Yeah.
insinuating
Yeah,
more
so-
pieces into
Yeah,
that.
so I'm thinking I'm gonna
illustration.
remove sounds
Remove
wrong. Remove her skirt. I'm
I
going to
thought that was water. That's so funny.
I am going
it
to
looks like
cut
water.
out this skirt, which is going to be fairly ornate because there are all these things, these
Yeah.
flowers in front of it. But then slip some things underneath to see what might show interestingly through
Cal's
it.
cutting around the blue there.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut this out. Just lose track of where I am here. Okay, over here. Oh, good. I've still got all the hard parts still to go. Perfect.
You love the hard parts, Cal.
I
You're
do.
known for that.
I'm guilty as charged.
Philippa asks, is the studio space where the large restaurant and the whole basement has been refurbished as well into fitness studios and this art studio, but they have more than one fitness studio.
They have a couple of different fitness studios, each one with new original mural works. in them.
Yeah, stunning contemporary
And I
murals.
think there's like a bathroom or a change room that also has a mural in it.
Mural.
Yeah.
And then there's practically a wing for bathrooms, and that's where Cal's artwork is. So it's easy for people to know when they've found the right place.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a commissioned piece and it's a permanent installation.
And permanent is in quotes because I think Lee is thinking minimum of or 5 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know whether, and it may last longer than that, it may
Yeah.
not, but that's what they're thinking.
Wow.
You know, times, I don't know, there's something about permanent, so minimum of 5 years. Like, it just says so much about the times we live in, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sadly it does. You know.
But by the same token, it's not meant to be a museum, right? So it's an interesting balance.
How do you know me?
We know Lee from when she was in Mississauga. She didn't live in Mississauga, but she was working at the Living Arts Center as head of exhibitions and the residency program there. And she was just so amazingly pleasant and charming and smart and knowledgeable and
Friendly,
a joy to
and
work
you know
with,
how
you know?
so many curators are very standoffish, understandably, right? Because there are millions of artists. Like, you're a curator, I want your eye, I want your attention,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm sure we've all had the experience of trying to get a curator's attention or sending them an email or talking to them
Well,
and
maybe
never
not
hearing back.
everybody,
No,
but
but lots
I
of
can
us have.
imagine that.
And
anyway.
and Lee is the opposite.
She's very,
Like she's
I mean, as you can probably discern from the tour, she's a very approachable human being, right? So, yeah. And she's very good at what she does. Like, so I was so pleased. I was pleased when she got the job here to begin with, but I knew it was a great sign because, of course, the hotel changed ownership, and that's when the renovations happened. When the new owners hired her back, I immediately felt good about the future of this place and whose hands it's in, you know?
because when we first heard that it was sold, because the Zeidlers
Yeah.
were doing such a great, they're responsible for 401 Richmond,
As well as,
and so I was like, oh no, the Gladstone's been sold. It was terrifying
it's
because
very
it's,
uncertain. There,
yeah,
right?
but we said they've hired me back, and we thought, okay, great, good,
Awesome.
and they're committed to the same vision. They just have deeper pockets, which the hotel
The place
really,
needed.
really, really needed, right?
Yeah.
It needed.
Because, oh my God, the stairs, because I had a solo show on the 3rd floor, I was up and down the stairs quite a lot.
And
The
yeah,
old
you would
stairs
start on
were
one
so
side and you'd
creepy.
end up on the other side because they
They're
were
so
slanting so
worn
much, and you had to
and-
really
oh.
watch yourself.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
did they do with all that old wood?
I don't know.
I don't know.
This year is so
Yes. Yes. My old high school, University of Toronto Schools, just underwent, it's almost ready for occupancy again. It underwent a multi-year refurbishment, which, oh my God, it desperately needed, because the science lab, for example, looked like a Victorian science lab when I went to it, with, weird ambiguous things floating in big jars of formaldehyde. I mean, very Victorian cabinet of curiosities type of thing.
That's hilarious.
And
Yeah.
the students were still in that lab. Like, I'm getting old now. So they're going to have state of the art everything now. But when they were closed down the school, and of course they were replacing all the windows, and they're big old wooden windows with, I forget how many different panes, they're mullion. And I thought it would be fantastic to get just a few of those windows and create, well, really it'd be nice to get several, a dozen of those windows and create an art installation based on the history, the present, the future, memory, all of that. And the school was totally willing to work with the contractor on getting them to me. The problem was I had nowhere to store them. Yeah, that was the reason I ended up having to pass on them.
Yeah, poor Kim really does need to live in the country with a barn because she thinks in terms of, she's like,
Except
I'm
that I
happy
needed-
making small stuff. She wants to make
I
big
need-
stuff,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. The problem is, if I live in the country, then what assistants am I going to hire? Because I also need assistants. I need space and assistants. It's some kind of unicorn location that will give me both.
Yeah.
Pardon, what was the last bit? Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Here's an idea. Well, because that's the only way that any lawn is getting mown.
Yes, yeah. That's our kind of lawnmower.
That's right. Well, we'll have this sort of movable fenced thing that we slide along so that by the end of the week, the whole lawn is mown. And then we start moving it back. I hear people do that with sheep
I was
sometimes.
gonna say sheep are better than goats.
Yeah.
Goats don't control it, everything.
Yeah.
Right, they're
Yeah.
too
They're
mischievous,
charming,
yeah.
but they
Yes.
are insanely hard to manage, right?
They're the artists of the animal kingdom, I think, then.
Sorry, Juliet. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So then you have to choose your sheep carefully.
We had our farm, my dad came home one day, 26 goats.
Wow.
He didn't know that they crawl under, over, on top of anything you can enclose them in.
And they're really smart too, aren't they?
Very smart.
Yeah,
They
which
get
is
out.
dangerous.
Yeah, the sheep used to get out too. My dad had 100 sheep and the neighbors would call him. Well, your sheep are in a herd and they're all running down the road. Come and get
Can
them.
you imagine?
And he would say, sheepishly, I'll be right there.
See, call Mary, and she had the little lamb, she knows what to do.
That's right. Oh, Ruth, you brought wood panels to collage on too, right?
Yeah,
That's fun.
no holding back.
Yeah, that's great. I should check the chat. I seem to be bad about the,
Well, there's a lot of distraction.
yeah. Philippa says, years ago when I was on my way with my first husband for a honeymoon, we stopped in at the Gladstone for a beer in the old beer parlor when it was a very sleazy hotel.
Yeah, I wonder if they got peanuts. Oh, peanuts.
Yeah.
My dad had a vending machine business. And we used to put the vending machine in this hotel. I remember some of the descriptors he had about how it was. I went to keep them.
Yeah, so Carol was regaling us at lunch, Philippa, with her dad had a vending machine business and made good money from peanuts being in the machines in bars, and the Gladstone was one of the locations that he made his good living from. The living that allowed him to buy the farm.
My mom said he bought the farm with peanuts. He did.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a joke, but it wasn't.
Well, I'm just gonna run to the washroom
All right.
and then I'm gonna have a little look around.
Yes, that's a great idea. We have some of the world's, well, the city's best collagers here.
Absolutely. Just ask Collage Magazine.
That's right.
Remind Gary. How do you spell that again?
Kolaj.
Okay. Mine just arrived. That's how long from Honey to Windsor.
Oh, I'm sorry it was such a long wait. But Cherie's still waiting for hers. Oh, you got it. You got it. Yeah, sorry. I can't keep my story straight. She is indeed. A round of applause for Cherie. Yay! All right, I guess that I should try to articulate what I'm doing here for the folks at home. I've been much too quiet. Sorry, guys. I'm still putting things into this. I'm still working. It's all loose right now. I will. Well, I can, but it will be. It's not much further than it was before. So I'm just like putting some new stuff into a vintage illustration. So yeah, the colors are lovely. Some little peeks of modern stuff. Thinking actually that maybe she should be in there. Oh, no, if you're facing the other way, it'd be better. Maybe I can find someone, a different shot that has some of that same quality. So anyway, it'd be great if I could close crop her out and have her still within this space so that she's sort of, we still won't see her, but I think if I did, she, yeah, I think she would cover. So what I might do is just cut her this side and then just see. That's one of the great things about collage. So
yeah, that's not something we asked there naturally. So I'll only have 5 before we go. Yeah, there. I will actually ask about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, I'm up there not really worrying that, you know, I'm not making it. It would occur to me if I was just creating papers for myself. Because I feel like I'm trying to work with my people and don't carry them. Yeah.
yeah, just don't put any pressure on yourself. That goes for everyone here and everyone at home too.
But it's also super stimulating when you're not used to being. Exactly.
Yeah, it's wonderful and bizarre.
Yes.
But my ability to parallel process is struggling.
Yeah. So, you know, when we did our first live stream, that was the very first time we've done a live stream. So, you know, for real, it was actually my video party. Yeah, that's the first one. And so this is our first hybrid, and we're learning as we go, like, hey, bring some lights. Bring lights. You know, the camera on, I mean, it's dark. We were able to make adjustments, but, you know, like, oh, right, we use LED lights at home, right? Yeah. So it's all learning. But yeah, don't focus on being done at this session or anything. Just like find ingredients, play with them, and get where you get to, you know. So, is this something you did from scratch here? You say you did a meeting here and everything? Wow, very effective.
So for those of you at home who may not be able to hear, probably not because the mic may not reach, Kim is availing herself of being able to go around and actually look at what people are cooking up, which is great.
And I used to do this all the time.
I know.
Teaching classes.
It's
wild doing it now.
It actually feels wrong that I am not wandering around and looking at people. So apparently, is that what I'm supposed to be doing up here?
I know, the overstimulation is crazy, isn't it? But it's refreshing. It's such a strong connection between your channels, color-wise, eh?
Yeah, I'm trying to do a little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So maybe become connected very nicely, yeah. It's a lovely texture too. Oh, yes. They're certainly going to be there, they're there for at least a year, and frankly, nothing's coming down this year. Yeah, 2021, it's all up there still. Yeah. And I'm not even looking at what might be archived until next year. Yeah. That's what's going on in my life. But yeah, please feel free to go, use the link and enjoy. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Look at all the sources you've got. Wow. That's a nice contrast between that lamp and this. That's a door. Yeah, so that's Syria, isn't it?
Sure. I was thinking at first roots, but it could be Turkey too. Or Syria. It could be Ephesus.
Yeah. My godmother, I was telling you about, she had a Syrian son-in-law who lives in the UK, but because of him, she got this incredible trip to Syria before, just like the year before the war broke out. And she saw stuff that's now, tragic. The stuff she saw.
Was the biggest site ever.
And it's just been trashed. Yeah.
So I'm just going to share with you guys what we've got. Somewhat anyway. So I'm really enjoying her. I think she's good. I kind of think she's kind of fun coming into that sort of text area.
Well, welcome back.
And at first I thought, oh, it'd be kind of fun to put this like lingerie kind of area into the skirt, but I'm thinking that's not quite right. So I'm going to try something else in that area. Something I think that still has some of the more color impact, I think. So that's where I'm at with that. So rethink that part. Maybe something maybe that feels new but not fashion. Maybe I can find something in this food and drink magazine.
I have a show coming up in June.
Certainly, food and drink has lots of zingy colors. It's interesting to think what might show through here.
And so I am.
It's a very complex shape, so.
So last night I was doing some tests.
So you can put a lot of things into this, I think, and because the shape is so complex, it gets lost more easily. So I'm gonna see about something that either has high recognition or high color factor.
Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. It doesn't have to be.
I'm a big fan of sort of cutting out a hole and showing stuff through.
Here's the thing.
Because then that's, it's just yet another way you can try before you buy.
Pull it out
So,
again another time, just.
I'm not that I'm thinking soup is the right thing, but wouldn't it be interesting to see what that color looks like? And that's, see, I don't like that, so that's good to know. Maybe since she's blue, maybe it's some blue sky or something relatively clean and blue. Might be interesting. And if it can feel new clean blue, That's so that might be what I'm looking for.
And we've got the variant, like everything's so
This could work, but this is a part of this image, and I want it to be different rather than yet another clip from that. So, yeah, I started flipping through food and wine, food and drink,
Well,
before I knew blue. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to find it in this one. I'm going to go back to my fashion magazine, see what we got.
You seem like such a singer to me. Bless you. So you never know. 2 years' time, I'll be inviting you to concert.
Or you'll be singing at your opening.
No pressure on it. Like, that's the key, right? So, oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Have you been able to do anything else, like singing or some other, like a dance thing or yoga or?
No, I did fun, I did work, and then I was cleaning up and I had
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no! I won't remember anything. But yeah, this.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
That.
Oh,
No, no, my dear.
So here are a couple of examples of
yeah.
what I was talking about.
Yeah, seriously, like
That
that's
I'm
what you need to know how to do
kind of finding my way here.
Well, you got through it. It's working now, and here you are.
It's weird having multiple conversations in the same room. Yeah, after being at home a lot. So I've got this space, and I realized it needed to be something not as distracting as she is, but I wanted it to feel new. And so here are two options that I've found. And I think it, like an image in this space where her skirt used to be is not a good idea. Like something highly recognizable, because it will fight with everything. So, but I did find two options. So there's this image of her and the folds of her blue fabric. Now is quite nice. So I put that under there and thought, yeah, that kind of works. So there's an example. Not quite right. You know, that, now it is fabric for fabric, right? She's wearing a skirt and it's a different kind of skirt, but it does have an interesting dialogue. It's not the same kind of blue. It's not quite as it's not gleaming the way this PVC or leather is. But there's a dialogue there. So that's kind of cool. And then there was also this one here, which has this, it's again, another skirt, but in a sort of flat graphic op art almost feeling. And that is kind of fun because see how similar these colors are, right? There's overlap in the colors. And so that I actually think might be the thing. Because it feels different, but it also feels connected. Didn't have it quite right. How did I find it? I think it was this way that I fit it in. So that's pretty cool, actually. I really like that.
Yeah, I think it came across in our podcast interview.
So yeah, I think that's kind of fun. So I think there might be something in that. Now whether it's exactly what I want, I'm not sure.
Who here heard any of the podcast interviews?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. Because, yeah, there was the joint one with Kal and I. There was Kal's solo podcast.
This is
and my
interesting
solo
because
one.
now I'm finding like they're
They're good.
something not quite right there. maybe they're both stealing too much of the attention. Like
Excellent.
she's definitely the power,
That just shows it's
the
working,
high,
right?
like where we go first. And maybe she's
Wow,
too
you thought it was
strong.
a black and white
So
extravaganza
maybe
going on.
that's going to be someone, you know, maybe I'll see if I can find someone who's not looking straight out at us the way she is. She's looking straight at us. These guys aren't, right? They're sort of looking over this way, and it might be good to find someone still has the new that she has, but isn't making direct eye contact with, so it's a little less direct, maybe looking back into the composition. So I think that's what I'm going to look for. That's not always that easy to find in fashion, because direct eye contact is a way in which people make things dramatic, right? So, you know, you'll find it all over the place in fashion magazines, looking straight at us, right? Because it's intense, right? And you know, if you're trying to sell something, or if you're trying to make a really compelling imagery, eye contact is one of the key ways to do that. But there might be something that I can find that doesn't have that. This is a guy, and it's black and white, not quite right, but you can see he's not looking straight out at us. So something like that. Yeah, lots and lots of direct, like looking straight at us, straight into the camera. So of course that's going to make it more challenging. You know, it might even be fine to find someone who's looking at us directly, but maybe their coloring is a little less bold, right? Like she might be sitting there. I don't think that's the right feel, but even though she's looking at us directly, less, her palette is less strong. So I might see if I can find something like that as well. I'll try a few options. And one of these sort of modern but period may be also a nice kind of just imagining her in there, or her in there. Yeah, I don't feel it's quite right. So if anyone's commenting at home, please forgive me. Yeah, Kim is off doing her rounds, so I'll take a look in a minute to see what you guys are commenting. But my moderator has gone AWOL, so or my comment reader. So.
Wow.
Mine too.
Well, that's handy. This is fun.
I'm looking at this woman's hat, which feels very much like the 1899 of this illustration, and imagining it on her. And I think the heads actually aren't that far apart, so I might.
Yeah.
It might work.
Nice.
So that might be kind of an interesting way to sort of push back and forth between time and palette and so on. So I may just consider that as an option.
It's so cool to see your working person.
Isn't it?
Progress because oh, working with the Nautilus. That's fun. You found some really lovely source material, those big, all those different figures. Beautiful. And all in the ancient Parthenon or whatever it is. Whatever that particular one is. Why not put this? Yeah.
Yeah, it's remarkable once you start looking at in magazines. Like it's taken me a while to find someone who is not actually looking directly into the camera. I mean, she has a logo right over top of her, unfortunately, but that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, obviously new rather than old, but not looking into the camera. Something that has just a little bit of gentler mood, not straight at us.
This is good. You got
more than one on the
I only have the one magazine,
Yeah.
which is fine. You know, if I had more magazines, I'd have more difficulty, I think. So she's big. She's big, even bigger than our sort of star girl. But because she is sideways, I think that might be an option. So I'm gonna try her. Because I could bring her into this area and even just have just a very small amount of her profile, which might diminish somewhat her power. I don't know if you can hear, but we're getting a bit of a buzz going on, which is kind of fun. You know, when you get that excitement of lots of people in the room. I have to say, I haven't heard it in so long, and I've missed it for sure. It is lovely doing our collage jam the way we've been doing it, but it's also really lovely just to hear collage community in person again for a change.
Right. Yeah, because we don't have a speaker system, right? That means that once they set it or if you really have one. Yeah, exactly. So there, we got I know. How do we not figure this out? Is that great? Yeah. Yeah, well, she needs a lot of that. Yeah. So, it's so great to have access to a program like this, which gets space. Right? Well, good. Well, Kal, I think I've abandoned you for too long now. I better come back.
Well,
I've been co-hosting.
I do believe the comments that could be relayed
Well, I certainly will.
from the fine folks at home. I
Yes.
warned them that you had gone AWOL.
My
So.
apologies to everyone at home.
And not to worry, I've been
Kal, if you haven't held up what you're doing to anyone here
person?
recently, please.
I will do in a
Please
moment
do so
or two.
when you're ready.
Yeah.
So they get a chance to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll just give everyone a heads up that it's 3:35. We're gonna go till 3:45.
Yeah.
And at 3:45, or well, let's say 3:40, so in another 5 minutes, anyone who has anything that they care to share with people at home, you can just bring it up, and I will give it a pass by and mention who it's by and what you're thinking about.
Even interesting things you cut out that you haven't actually collaged, because sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes that's.
Yeah. So just, Kal, I'm going to give you a heads up that my laptop's running out of battery power
Right, so I
because
should
we
give
don't
you-
have the power cord pack.
I will
for
give
it.
you mine. Yeah.
Oh, right. That would be good.
Yeah.
That was one of our little snafus today. You want to hand me the whole thing, or
Yeah,
is it
yeah. Sorry, guys. Jostling stuff.
Yeah. You might find it easier to just give me the whole thing. And I'll
Yeah. Thank you.
deal with it. So Philippa had added an age ago that
Yeah. Sorry, Philip.
Gladstone has a long history. And Ingo and she, so Ingo is not her first husband, he's her subsequent husband, her current husband, her
main squeeze.
what? Yeah, exactly. Whatever. They've always wanted to spend the night there. Here.
Well, now is the time because we got all this great artwork now.
Okay. I ran out of battery power.
Uh-oh.
So it's the screen's gone black. I'm plugged in, so in a moment I think I'll be able to bring it back.
Do you want to peer over my shoulder a little bit to read?
Yes,
the
I can
comments?
do that. That's a good idea. All right.
Kim and Kal take their show on the road quite
Valerie,
perfectly.
it's so funny. Valerie writes, Cherie, it was a great article. I'll repeat it when Cherie's unoccupied.
What's that? Sorry?
Valerie says, Cherie, it was a great article.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Val.
It was.
Ricky writes, unfortunately, I have to leave to pick out paint.
Well, that,
Renovation
yes,
woes,
in
right?
fact, she's probably already left us, but yes, that duty calls, right? So thank you for joining us. If you
Yeah, if
you're
you
still with
can
us,
hear this.
yeah.
She says, I'll use what I've learned in your classes about complementary colors and values in capitals with multiple exclamation marks. Thank you. It was good being here even for this short while. Rebecca says, I like the stripes too.
Yes,
You were
thank
showing
Yeah,
stripes.
was-
Oh, I
yeah.
see. You've replaced the skirt with stripes.
Yeah, well, I had
That's nice.
that was one thing that I was talking about is I originally had something else in there. I think it was lingerie, but it wasn't reading properly, and I think it needed to be something graphic, but also that would be read as new. And
Yeah.
so I tried a couple of different things, and I like the stripes for sure. Stripes feel new, but also the palette seems appropriate. I'm gonna have to trim a bit of her off.
Philippa says that she likes the striped one.
So
So that's two votes.
yeah,
for
obviously
stripes.
the stripes are winning.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna put this on a sheet of paper. Okay. Great. Just so that I can lift it to the camera in a moment.
Annie says, gotta run. I know she has, I think children she has to pick up at a
Oh,
certain
right.
time.
Yes.
Grandchildren.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Annie, for joining us.
She says, looks good, Cal. We'll see it on
Facebook.
Facebook
maybe. Yeah,
post. Have a great week.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gerda wants to know, are we going to see some of the collages by the participants?
Yes.
Well, Gerda, as you've probably heard Cal say, anybody in the
invitation
in-person group is welcome to share as they would in a normal in-person class, except we'll have the overhead cam available. So it will depend on the people here.
Yep. We're not going to make anyone who doesn't want to share anything.
Okay, let's see if there's enough power yet. Last time I tried to get my computer up, it said, no, it's charging, but it's still too low.
Right.
So I need to scroll.
Yeah. Let me move some of the stuff because I no longer need it.
Is there anybody in the class who drove here from the east end?
Yeah,
I think in this side. This side? How do you go back? Which way, what route do you go back?
usually I go north on something.
That's a start.
Could be Warmest or could be another one, and then I go on to
Oh, Dublin.
or I could do Dublin.
Can you do college or go that along? Or just too low to go on?
No, I get that.
That'd be awesome.
I'll then go east
Yeah,
and I park.
I live at Jarvis, but
At where?
where we Jarvis and
Well, no, that's too far south from there.
Jarvis is north-south.
Jarvis is not, isn't.
Oh, okay, it becomes not there.
Jarvis and Dundas.
So I'm just going to share.
Jarvis is a little bit east of Yonge.
Yeah.
It's just a few blocks east of Yonge.
So I just thought that before I'm not going to get this glued down because there's too much fanciness with it. I need
Yeah.
to do it
Need to do it
quietly.
carefully.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Without so much stimulation.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to share that with you, and that's where we're at right now.
Okay, and
So
you're going to carefully hold it
up,
up
I am.
so that people can see. I
Yeah.
can help hold.
I will endeavor to do so. It's
Okay.
going to have some fingers
It's a
in
bit
the
of a
pie.
delicate.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So
This is Cal's.
This is sort
in
of old and
progress.
new, sort of trying to.
Nothing's glued.
Yeah.
That's why he's holding it so gingerly.
So apologies for
My kind of collage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure,
We don't have a nice shadow box to stick it in.
Oh, you
for-
gotta do- we just one of those glass frames.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
what we
And
need
you
to
can
do.
use images over and over.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, it's
So
already.
put
Oh,
this, put,
Already, got it.
put
sorry,
the,
yeah, no.
Oh, that slides in under, got it.
Give me a second, and I will do my best to reassemble it because I think it's something like this.
yes.
Very nice, very nice.
Slots are a really cool idea, don't you think?
Yeah, well, I like showing stuff showing through, and I also really like this because this feels very period, but then it's obviously new and it's
Starting
in front of
Contemporary.
with really strong images.
Yeah,
Yeah. A unifying thing.
And
Yeah.
originally I had someone who was competing with her too much here, and I decided that someone needed to be not making eye contact with us and looking back in, and so that
And also
she's doing
color-wise,
Yeah.
she's not competing, she's more integrated with what's
the
behind
palette.
her.
Yeah, so I think that's
Yeah.
may
And
not be the
actually the
final.
compliment to her.
Yeah.
Very nice. Cool.
All right, so what I'm going to do just before people bring their stuff up is I'm just going to clear the decks a little bit on my messy collage space.
Philippa says, love the hat.
Oh yeah, I like the hat too, Philippa, because it's the hat feels period, although it's a photograph and it's new, and it fits her head really nicely, although it's obvious that it wasn't something she was wearing in the photo shoot. So I like that. I like all of those things about it. So, all right. So I'm just going to make a little pile of scraps. Actually, some of these.
Yeah, I don't have suggestions so far on as we around having hybrid events.
Right. Please need all the help we can get. What are people saying?
So one, people who are in person feel less what you're doing than people who are watching the live stream.
Right.
For obvious reasons, right?
Yeah.
But if we had a screen that was that image was able to convey to,
Yes.
then anyone working at a table could look at the screen to see what you're doing the way the live stream watchers
Yes, that is a
can
good
do.
idea.
And I think that's an awesome
That is
thing.
an awesome idea.
The other thing is, now this is a small room, but I noticed when I was standing at the back of it, when you were talking into the microphone, it was like you were something separate from me when I was at the back of the room. So if we had a little bit of amplification
Yeah.
to
To fill the room
allow-
a little bit more.
just so that it would be clear, not indistinct,
Yes.
that could be helpful.
Yeah.
So
So you guys are our guinea pigs.
Yeah.
And our excellent feedback loops. So thank you, everyone.
this is certainly a really good venue because we were able to have a very civilized lunch, a number of us, before the event, plus a nice art tour beforehand. That's kind of an unusual treat as well.
Oh, and then you do it. Cool.
All right. So I'm going to invite the participants who are here. If anyone has work in progress they would like to share,
Unglued, simply
We will-
interesting cutout
we
material,
will be
experiments.
happy to share it
anything.
with people at home. And just bring it on up. And if
Cal
you-
has cleared the decks for,
so
great, Maryland's first
all right. So
here.
Maryland D'Onofrio.
Yay.
Wow, you have been working hard. So look
That
at
is
this.
busy. Whoa.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
So she's got all kinds of old and new Toronto imagery. So you did some serious research beforehand.
I love that bus.
Yeah, like that. Oh, and it's Humberside Annette, so it's Toronto. That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what are these graphics from these?
Canadian art magazine.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So like, they blend in really nicely, or contrast and work nicely with, and yeah, some very new buildings as well, new and old city. Yeah,
I
great.
can totally see this in textile.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't you love to
You know,
wear
with
this?
the imagery,
Yeah.
with the imagery on textile, it
Yeah.
could be pieced or it could be printed as a whole. But
And
yeah,
I was inspired too, because I bought colored pieces, but after looking at the ceiling.
right.
In the
Yeah.
The lobby of
I-
the
I said to
Gladstone.
Kim, I just, oh gosh, this is what we were just looking at.
Yeah,
It's a
so
very
that's great.
graphic
and,
ceiling.
and the playing with the black and white, it's so
It's a
so
fun-
delicious. Yeah.
Fun place
Thank
to
you very
play.
much, Meryl.
Lovely. Who's next? I think Julianne was next.
I have an old bag with some new art.
Ah, an old bag with new art. I
That's
love
a-
that. This is great. So
Way
what
to
do you?
bring the theme.
Yeah.
Julianne.
So you're playing with are these magazines overpainted? Yeah. Yeah. That's
Texture and color.
yeah.
Yeah.
The surfaces are really quite delicious in this.
Yeah. I also love buried stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
that you sort of
Little
peer
treasure
in,
hunt in there.
wondering, and then is this today or was that there to begin with?
Well, I painted them all, but.
Okay, all right, yeah, yeah,
But I didn't paint them all today.
right,
Yeah.
right. No,
Yeah.
the collage part is today. Though. Yeah, no, that's
Which
great.
is so-
Yeah, so rich.
Yeah.
Like I'm so used to collage being sorry, I should keep it under the collage is so often just found imagery, but when you incorporate paint in it like with
Oh,
it
yeah.
like this, I can't
That's-
speak. It really adds another level. You can really see the motion of the hand in it, which is
Yeah.
delicious.
It enriches it.
Yeah, thank you.
Aren't you proposing a course that's collage and paint?
Thank you.
Really?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I seem to recall, Cal, that you were gathering images for, is it BAM or Nielsen Park?
I can't remember him.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, stay tuned to
Yes.
Cal's newsletters.
I know it's
or
pathetic, but
social
I
media.
I can't juggle that. in
But
my
I think it might be in person, am I right? Well, stay tuned. Cal can't,
I feel pathetic. But
Cal's cognitive bandwidth
yeah,
is
it's past
full
it.
now,
It's past
so.
full. So this is a piece by
I
Françoise
know you
Herbert,
know.
and she's playing with the. So did you actually draw the Nautilus? Okay. You found it? Yeah.
Because it's on a Greek temple.
Right. Right.
So it
Yeah.
shows the classical beauty and the new.
Yeah, and then
Standards of
you.
beauty.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
great, and I love the way it sort of goes in and out of the columns. That's really brilliant. And then you've got a little frieze of
Yeah.
the modern stuff too. And where did you find this stuff? Like that? That was like perfect. Like
I know
made
the
for it.
source
Yeah.
material is unbelievable.
Yeah, and she's great. Like, look at so some of these new imagery is very contrasty with the old stuff, but look at how this really integrates. It's beautiful. It's sort of almost you don't notice her at first, and then you really do. So
Yeah.
that's great. Thank you.
So they-
All right, we got 2 for the price of 1 from Ruth Oppenheim here.
Yes, you might not recognize it, but there is old and new.
Okay, so it is full of old and new imagery, and I can definitely see some new imagery in here, and I can there's an urban, some snippets of urban that are very new, and then exactly, and the sort of out of boring by looks like a new train or something like that, and then lots of other and here.
And this is an old.
Yeah.
It's washing hanging out.
Yeah, it's great. And you also have some very natural looking materials, right? Is this like handmade paper or something?
I'm just going to text
Right.
Lee, the curator, about a bin for us to sweep
Yeah,
our.
no, this is
Paper
great.
scraps
And
into?
it's look at how great they look together. Really.
There's a third one I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, did you start these from scratch or
No,
no?
I
Okay,
had a
all right.
ground- I have a ground.
Right, okay, yeah. No,
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you.
Thanks, Cal.
Does anyone else have work they would like to share?
Great.
Bring it on up. All right, so we have a piece from Carol here. All right, wow. Okay, so we've definitely got old and new going on here. We've got like old, like looks like the underside of a
Yeah,
treadle.
treadmill sewing machine.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah. And then very look like Cinque Terre or similar, right? And ruins and so on. And then we've got like hypercurrent chandeliers, and some this looks like it might be old and new or more recent. Yeah. So some very techy new stuff, but a predominance of older stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
And this is French provincial.
Yeah.
some wrapping paper.
Yes, and we also have a lot of ornate stuff, right? Like the
Well,
doilies.
Victorian.
Yeah, which is great, which really ties into some of the borders and these architectural friezes and so on. Yeah, great. And Journey Through Time. There's your title, right? Yeah, thank you.
It's not glued yet.
It's not glued yet.
No.
That's how you know it's Cherie's
Yes,
piece.
not glued yet.
that should be your handle. Not glued yet.
Yeah, attachment issues.
Attachment issues.
Yeah.
So we have this is a curious. She found these. Where did we find this? Oh, okay, that's hilarious. But so we've got like a real vintage. Look at these hourglass corsets, which is great. And we've got like this woman running in or out or whatever with her high heels and stockings, which is hilarious. Like that's obviously very new and this is very old, but it's the same story. And of course, they're in pandemonium. Yes, much applause, exactly. I'm with them. That's great.
This is a
How many? A
I
quickie.
usually work 2 and 3 at a time.
Right. So this is great. Like we got a vintage shot with, and then is this the only insinuation?
That's the new one.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Lovely. And there is something about a really compelling one image, but then with this like
One
splash of like, yeah, exactly, zingy. And then last but not least,
Studio 54.
Cherie's been busy. Right. Oh yeah. Look. So we got the. I love. Are those limbs from the same person?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It really doesn't look like it, but they do look like.
She's dancing.
Yeah.
And that's her dress, isn't it?
It's stunning. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And then like that's the old, and that's great. I love it. And the can't speak dramatic. Like this hand really feels close to us compared to that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of perspective. And then that's also great, right? So here we've got like old, new, and this. Yeah. Oh, it's a killer dress. And like the connection between the sort of metallicness of that in the photograph and then the metallic of this in the flat.
Yeah, I've got silver leaf at home. I want to see if I can bring a
Bring
little
that
more
in?
organic
Mhm.
slots of silver.
I can
across.
see it sort of partially obscuring down here, but sort of blending in one sense and
Yeah.
obscuring in another. And it will have a nice dialogue with that stuff. And I love these at the angle that there are. That's great. No, that's a very tasty little composition. There, Sheree. No, thank you very much. Do we have any other exhibitors? Last call. All right. We have one more to come and then we will end the stream. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Yep.
No
Yep.
worries. Don't need to do it.
No, I'm not. I'm just
Okay.
telling them that that it was coming. So this is from Lisa Ricola, sister of Cherie. And wow, I'm loving this. So we've got like vintage. This looks like they're from like.
That's a kind of a paparazzi.
Okay, yeah. And
Take, because I tried to get the idea of historical picture and how stable and still they are. And
yes, very
and then
like
as my old, and then the new is this sort of
the clamoring of,
activity,
yeah.
frenzy, no.
And I love like this. It looks very recent because they're using a digital camera, but here a little older because they're all using.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? And yet, strangely, they're the same picture.
Oh, okay,
They're the
so-
same-
Okay, yeah, there are some newer cameras in here, but yeah. So that's great. And then like in this period, you had to like be very still,
Yes.
right?
And
The
nobody
exposures were,
smiled.
yeah, exactly. It was all very serious because it was a big deal to have a picture taken, right? So there's a great, and the color ties it together really nicely. Like you've used the contemporary imagery, black and white, which means that we look for not just a simple color cue. And then is this marbled paper?
This is,
Wow.
it's acrylic marble paper. Super
Yeah.
coarse in that. So
Right?
it's just
So
black
that's something you made yourself?
marble.
That's
Yeah,
great.
This is
Yeah.
an old drawing.
Yeah.
And anyway.
No, that's great. And I love him too in the background, sort of leading us in from
That's
that
actually
side.
my grandfather.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I like these like stark angles and then these quiet ones. These are sort of you almost don't notice them, and then these are really strong, but they echo each other nicely. So yeah, beautiful.
Thank you for
Thank
today.
you.
We
No,
had a
thank
lot
you.
of
It's been a
fun.
lot of fun.
It's
Yeah.
been a lot.
Yay. So I'm just going to sign off, everyone. Sorry about the camera here. I'll take this off since I'm going to say goodbye. And I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the work of the people here. We've gone way over time, I know. So thank you very much for joining us. Kim is out chatting with people, so thank you so much, Francoise. And take care, everyone. And we will see you for a back from Brampton and normal. Can't you tell? I can't focus. I am having an ADD moment. So thank you so much, everyone. Take care, and we will catch you next week on Kim's virtual studio party on her channel. Okay? Take care.
Cal did show them on the video.